This video is brought to you by Magic Spoon. Long-time viewers of this channel know that I'm a big fan of cereal because cereal is great. Who wouldn't love cereal? But it's not always great for you. Anyway, along come Magic Spoon and they're like, yo Simon, I heard you like facts. So check this out. 0 grams of sugar, 14 grams of protein, 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, and a full serving, 140 calories. Cool, I think. I mean, I don't know much about protein and carbs other than the former is good and the latter is maybe not so good, but that zero sugar bit had me sold. It also tastes amazing. They have sent me many boxes and I have eaten the many boxes. I have very few left. I'm very sad. It tastes amazing. It tastes as if it's loaded with sugar, but it isn't. And it's also low carb, GMO free, gluten free, keto friendly, all of that good stuff. Now, originally, they had these 4 flavors: cocoa, fruited, frosted, and blueberry. But recently, to my delight, they've added some new ones, including peanut butter and cinnamon. Those new ones are actually my favorite. Peanut butter is absolutely top notch. Anyway, click the link below or go to magicspoon.com/brainfood to grab a variety pack and try it all out. Use my promo code BRAINFOOD, you get $5 off. Magic Spoon also has a 100% happiness guarantee, so if you don't like it, you get your money back. Perfect. And let's get into the video. In 1814, some 20,000 troops of the British East India Company launched an assault on the Kingdom of Gorkha in what is today Nepal, seeking to expand their influence into the Indian subcontinent's mountainous northern territories. To their surprise, the British encountered unexpectedly fierce resistance from local mountain warriors known as Gorkhalis, and the conflict quickly degenerated into a bloody 2-year slog. So impressed were the British with the Gorkhalis' fighting spirit that defectors were quickly integrated into their own ranks, and when the Anglo-Nepali War finally ended in March 1816 with the signing of the Treaty of Sagali, the British took an if you can't beat 'em, join 'em attitude and formed entire units of Gurkha soldiers commanded by British officers. These units quickly became an integral part of the British Army, taking part in every major conflict over the next 200 years. In this time, they've acquired a reputation that can only be described as legendary, with an astonishing 26 Gurkhas being awarded the Victoria Cross, the UK's highest military award for gallantry. With the motto of better to die than be a coward, the Gurkhas are known and feared the world over as some of the world's most fearsome and deadly warriors. How deadly? Well, look no further than the story of Acting Sergeant Diprasan Pun, who, while serving in Afghanistan in 2010, single-handedly defended his outpost against a large group of Taliban fighters and redefined the word badass. Born in Bhima, western Nepal, but currently living in Ashford, Kent, Diprasan Pun comes from a long line of soldiers, with his father and grandfather also serving in Gurkha regiments. His grandfather, Tul Bahadur Pun, even received the Victoria Cross in 1944 while serving in the Burma theatre of World War II. In September 2010, the then 31-year-old Pun was acting sergeant in the 1st Battalion Royal Gurkha Rifles stationed in Helmand province in southern Afghanistan. On the night of the 17th, Pun and 3 other soldiers were left to guard their control post near the town of Babaji, while the rest of their unit moved out to secure the surrounding roads ahead of the next day's parliamentary elections. Throughout the night, the 4 men took turns manning the Sangar, or elevated guard tower, at the center of their compound. Sergeant Pun was standing guard in the tower when he suddenly heard what sounded like a cow or donkey braying in the darkness. At first he ignored it, but he soon grew suspicious and climbed higher up the tower to get a better look. It was then that he spotted 2 Taliban insurgents planting an improvised explosive device, or IED, by the compound gate. Before Pun could react, the air filled with tracers and rocket-propelled grenades as a hidden force of Taliban launched a coordinated surprise attack on the compound. While most of us would have reacted to such a situation by making our trousers significantly damper and a bit more smelly, Diprasad Pun remembered that he was, after all, a Gurkha and responded accordingly. At that time, I wasn't worried. There wasn't any choice but to fight. The Taliban were all around the checkpoint. I was alone. I had so many of them around me that I thought I was definitely going to die, so I thought I'd kill as many of them as I could before they killed me. At first, I was a bit scared, but as soon as I started firing, that feeling went away. With Taliban closing in all around him, Pun coolly gathered up 2 radios and used them to call his commanding officer for reinforcements. This done, he then went into Super Gurkha rage mode with a cry of Marchu Talai, Nepali for I will kill you all. He pulled the guard tower's L-108A1 general-purpose machine gun off of its tripod and proceeded to go full John Rambo on his attackers, hip-firing the weapon in a 360-degree arc. Once his ammunition was exhausted, Pun moved to lobbing grenades off of the tower and even set off a Claymore anti-personnel personnel mine before picking up his SA-80 service rifle and continuing to lay withering fire upon his attackers. At one point, a Taliban fighter climbed up the side of the tower and attempted to rush him, but Pun spotted him, whirled around and fired, only for his rifle to jam. Apparently determined to prove that a Gurkha can kill you with just about anything, Pun reached for a nearby sandbag, but it had not been tied properly, and so the sand spilled harmlessly to the floor. So, with seconds to spare, Pun picked up the heavy machine gun tripod, folded it, and hurled it in his attacker's face, sending him toppling off the tower to his death. Pun continued to beat back the Taliban assault for nearly a quarter of an hour before the rest of his unit arrived and finally drove off the attackers. His company's commander, Major Sean Chandler, gave him a hearty slap on the back and asked him how he was, to which Pun simply replied, "I'm fine." In all, Sergeant Diprasad Pun, one-man Gurkha army, had single-handedly held off an estimated 30 Taliban fighters and killed 3, in the process setting off 250 machine gun rounds, 180 rifle rounds, 17 grenades, and a mine. About the only weapon he didn't use was his kukri, the traditional Gurkha fighting knife, but only because he didn't have one on him at the time. As the battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Gez Strickland, later remarked, "My battalions have done 2 tours in Afghanistan and been involved in some very difficult and fierce fighting. Diprasad's action is the bravest I have seen. He courageously held that position despite being under attack from a hail of bullets. He saved the lives of 3 men, as well as his own." In recognition of his bravery, on June 1, 2011, Sergeant Diprasad Pun was awarded the Conspicuous Gallantry Cross, Britain's second highest military decoration, by Queen Elizabeth II in a ceremony at Buckingham Palace. The citation for his award read, in part, "Sergeant Pun single-handedly fought off an enemy attack on his lightly manned position. In the dark, he tackled the enemy head-on as he moved around his position to fend off the attack from 3 sides, killing 3 assailants and causing the others to flee. In doing so, he saved the lives of his 3 comrades and prevented the position from being overrun. Sergeant Pun couldn't know how many Taliban were attempting to overcome his position, but he sought them out from all angles despite the danger, consistently moving towards them to reach the best position of attack." Sergeant Pun was more modest about his actions that night, stating, "I know I'm very lucky to be alive. I didn't think the attack would ever end, and I nearly collapsed when it was over. I did what I was trained to do." Though the Gurkhas now make up only a small part of the British Army, their numbers having fallen from an all-time high of 200,000 during World War II to less than 3,500, they continue to serve with distinction wherever they are deployed, as Diprasad Pun's actions of September 17, 2010 clearly demonstrate. Such feats of gallantry would appear to confirm what Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw, former Chief of Staff of the Indian Army, once said about this unique fighting force: "If a man says he is not afraid of dying, he's either lying or he is a Gurkha." And now for a bonus fact. The weapon most closely associated with the Gurkhas is the kukri, a curved, machete-like knife originating in northern India and Nepal. Over the years, numerous myths have grown up around this legendary weapon, the most common being that once drawn, the kukri cannot be sheathed until it has drawn blood. According to this myth, if a Gurkha is unable to draw another's blood, he will instead cut his thumb before sheathing the blade. However, this notion is undermined by the fact that the kukri is not exclusively used as a weapon. In fact, in India and Nepal, the kukri is widely used as an all-purpose utility knife for chopping wood and preparing food. If everyone were to cut themselves after every minor task, it would surely lead to a nationwide epidemic of anemia. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below. Don't forget to subscribe. Please do check out our fantastic sponsor, Magic Spoon, link below. And thank you for watching.